What's good, YouTube? DM Gaming here, guys. Hope everybody having an awesome weekend. Today, I want to discuss the next generation consoles and how they could affect games like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I have sent the message out to CyberConnect 2. I've sent the message out to Bandai Namco just inquiring. I don't expect them to reply. But what I want to do is I'm going to take a look at the PlayStation 5 first in this video, and kind of go through the features that the console is offering and how they could benefit Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now, guys, they haven't come out. They haven't said if Kakarot would be ported to next-gen consoles. They haven't spoken anything about that. So we don't know. Everything, that I'm talking about is possibility. Now, one thing we have to understand is this. If in the event that it is put on next generation console, that doesn't mean that they're going to add things to the game. Generally, when you have a game that's on a previous gen console, you're going to have some graphic improvements automatically just because of the console itself, but also like frame rate. Things that, so basically, if you want to get an idea of how Kakarot would look and play, kind of look at it on PC, because PC tends to run at a higher frame rate than on consoles, and so you'll get a smoother gameplay and things like that. But as far as graphics and things like that, I mean, it would still be the same graphics engine, so don't expect an improvement in graphics. Plus, with a game like Kakarot, the art style isn't something that you would just, ooh, I can't wait to see the graphics for that, as far as that. Now, special attacks and stuff, the colors may be more vibrant and things like that. But as far as the game itself, the biggest thing that we could possibly get from it being on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X is a frame rate increase. Unless CyberConnect 2 and Bandai Namco decides to add features to the game that won't be available on the PlayStation 4 models. But I don't see them doing that. They didn't do that with Xenoverse. So, whenever Xenoverse was on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, whatever, So I don't see them doing that with the PlayStation 5 version of the game, but it's possible. I mean, because you got to think about it like this. DLC for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot will still be unfolding as these next generation consoles are going to be out. You see what I'm saying? And so it's possible that they could add some things for the next generation version of the game that they didn't have on current gen. But with everything going on, guys, it's tough. So let's just take a look. The PlayStation 5, of course, here. Lightning speed, harness the power of a custom CPU, GPU, and the SSD. That's the biggest thing. So that's the one I want to talk about, and that's what's first up right here is the Ultra Speed SSD, which means solid state drive. Maximize your play session with near instant load times for installed PS5 games. So that's interesting, installed PS5 games. I'm wondering if that goes for disc-based games as well, or just games that are downloaded straight to the console, but not getting into that. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot does have notoriously long loading times, and I hinted at this in another video talking about instant transmission and how if they do port it to the next generation consoles with basically no loading times, they could essentially incorporate a new animation. Instead of it being a load screen, they could just incorporate Goku, bam, instant transmission. Now, the only downside to this is that only Goku would be able to use it. You see what I'm saying? Currently in the game, you could be playing with Gohan as your main character, and you can go to Supreme Kai's planet, King Kai's planet, and the other planet Namek. How do you get there? You see what I'm saying? Gohan can't fly to King Kai's planet and stuff like that. So they could give everybody instant transmission, which a lot of people would probably complain about. But I think, it would be a neat feature to add into the game. With the game not having load times, is an instant transmission animation of some sorts or something like that. And so right here, that's just the integrated IO. The custom integration of the PS5 system lets creators pull data from the SSD so quickly that they can design games in ways never before possible. So this could help as far as production. Like I said, I don't see any of that right there. I don't see them changing anything about the core game. But it is possible. It's always possible. You have had games to do that type of thing before, where the game is ported to a new console, a more powerful console, and they add features and things like that for that console. Also, these console makers, Sony and Microsoft, could be pushing these developers to add stuff to the game to sell consoles, especially in a time like now that we're dealing with in the world. You know, this could hurt sales. And so to boost sales, it's like, hey, put this game on this next generation console, add some stuff to it to entice people to buy these consoles. Look, they're already kind of doing that by making these games free on the next gen if you own them on current gen. So, you know, that's not out of the realm of possibility. But y'all know I always like to set proper expectations. And I do feel like that if they did move this to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, that some things are guaranteed a higher frame rate, basically no loading times, and then some improvement with graphics. So you have ray tracing, immerse yourself in worlds with a new level of realism as rays of light are individually simulated, creating a true-to-life shadow and reflection. See, something like this, ray tracing is awesome. PC players already experience this. They know what it's like. But you're not going to get this with a game like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, because these are more into like realistic games like Horizon, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption. Games like that are going to take advantage of ray tracing, as well as the Unreal Engine 5. You know, Kakarot wasn't built on the Unreal Engine 5. You know, and I know you could say, well, couldn't they port it to that? They would basically have to build the game from the ground up again. You see what I'm saying? I don't see that happening. But with the next generation consoles, the Unreal Engine 5, and what they have to offer, the next Dragon Ball game could be awesome. And then, of course, 4K. Yay. Everybody's happy about 4K. 4K without HDR these two go together. That 4K and the HDR, they go together, man. You got to have both of those together. But this right here, up to 120 frames per second with a 120 hertz output. Your television has to be able to put out 120 hertz. So when you're buying your televisions, guys, you have to look at the hertz. What is the hertz output? If it's 60 hertz, guess what? You're not going to be able to put out 120. It's not going to be able to contain or do 120 frames per second if that is available. But 60 frames per second is what we're chasing on consoles. So the fact that the PS5, for example, can go up to 120, that's dope, man. That's some smooth gameplay that we've not seen on consoles. So that's some very interesting thing. HDR, which, like I said, all these games, we already have that. And then 8K output, which is something that, guys, let's be real, I don't even think our eyes would be able to notice 8K. Now, and like I said, with a game like Kakarot, 8K, you're not gonna really benefit from that. Something that they would be able to do if they wanted to in Kakarot is kind of make, of course, the ultimate, the super attack cutscenes would look a lot better. The cutscenes in general would look a lot better. They could have blades of grass actually blowing in the wind and things like that. And Kakarot is already kind of impressive when you look at some of those things, because whenever Goku's flying, his hair actually blows back and it even waves in the wind. His clothing moves with the wind and things like that. So it's going to be some really interesting things if they put it on next gen console that we probably didn't see before, that we'll be able to notice with a better graphic output, as well as ray tracing and a better frame rate. But all in all, guys, like I said, those things are what we can expect. What we can expect and what is kind of up in the air is if they will actually add other things to the game. Right now, we can't even get information about the next DLC. So I don't expect any of that. But I am interested to see what this game will look like, how it will play, and if, because they may not even do it. While if you look back in history, they did it with Xenoverse. I personally believe that based on the DLC patterns, I believe that they will put Dragon Ball Z Kakarot on next-gen consoles. If you think that they will, and if you want them to, let me know down in the comment section down below, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video, and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below, guys. I hope you have an amazing weekend. That's all I got for right now. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace.